Alrighty. You guys have finished your back practice. So, hocus pocus. Try again. Hocus pocus. Man, I'm going to get a point for that because that's not what I expect from my third graders. Class. Much better. You guys are pretty good with bar graphs, which is why this lesson goes pretty fast, except for they're not just going to ask you really basic questions anymore. They're not going to say, how many green flowers are there, or how many green and red. Those are too simple. So they're going to start giving you more difficult questions where we start comparing different amounts, right? And everybody's focused up here because you are being proactive and you're in charge of what you're learning, which means you're focused. Your hands are on your desks. You're sitting up ready to learn. You're not turning around to your neighbors because they don't determine your learning. So adjust your body to be a smart learner. Are we ready?
Yes, we are.
We're going to start with some practice with a horizontal bar graph. So I want to know how much you guys can already do with some of these trickier questions. Check it out. So in this bar graph, we know that it is all about these students being on a... We have lots of different drivers, and then they're recording how many
Miles driven.
So if we were to summarize what's going on in this table, Barbara, Shahid, Jing, and Aaron all drove on their spring trip for a certain amount of miles, right? So who can answer my first question? Uh-oh. How many miles did Shahid drive? Who thinks they can tell me how many miles did Shahid drive based on this bar graph? I better get my randomizer out here so I can put some random people. We don't learn it again, we use our GTA. Dun, dun, dun. Braylon. 250 miles. Very good. And so we would write our answer just like that. Shai drove 250 miles. We wouldn't say 250 miles driven. That's telling us that this is the Gunner. That label tells us that this is the miles driven, but their question says how many miles did he drive? So our label is just miles. Okay. Next question. I'm going to zoom in on the table a little more so you guys can see that graph better. Oh my goodness, splurts. Who drove 100 more miles than Barbara? Oh. When you have that one, you can put your hand on your head. Otherwise, I'm going to be going off of my friend that gets selected. Who drove 100 more miles than Barbara? You'd be finding Barbara. You'd be looking for a bar that is 100 greater than hers. Skylar. Who drove 100 more miles than Barbara? Let's check. Barbara drove 200. Aaron drove 300. Absolutely. So these ones, did you notice? They're really short answers. That's kind of nice. They just make you think a little bit more. How many more miles did Aaron and Barbara combined drive than Jing? When you get problems like this, that's when we start comparing with a math picture like a... Oh my goodness. Flirts McGee.
Oh, man.
Next time it's going to be just a strike for that individual. Better get focused. When they ask questions more than, less than, we know that we could represent that with comparison bars, right? So in this particular problem, they want to know how many more did Aaron and Barbara, so A and B,
500.
compared to Jing. So first, oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, online friends, that they're being obnoxious. Are you guys done wasting our time?
Yep. 250.
The first step would be figuring out how many miles did Aaron and Barbara drive together.
Oh, 500.
I'm looking for GTA. Olivia.
500.
Well, let's see. Aaron drove 300. Barbara drove 200. Absolutely. Together they drove 500 miles. Who can tell me how many Jing drove? Riley. 350. If I compare those two numbers, what is the difference in those two amounts? What is the difference in those two amounts? Dax, what do you think? So the difference, like mathematically, when I'm asking for the difference, I would be subtracting 500 minus 350. What would that difference be? Say that again. It is 150. Don't be shy. You're right. You're so right. It's 150 miles. And not just 150 miles, but their question was how many more miles. So 150 more miles. All right. Let's see how we do with the next one. How many more miles did Shaid and Aaron combined drive than Barbara? So now you have to put Shaid and Aaron's amounts together and compare that to Barbara's. When you have that one, you can put your hand on your head. Oh, I have some speedy mathematicians. Take your time, though. You do not need a sticky note for that. Let's see. How many more did Shaid and Aaron combined drive than Barbara? What do you think, Maddie? How many did Shaid and Aaron drive together? Riley? Good. Shaid and Aaron drove 550. And we're comparing that to Barbara all by herself, which was 200. What would my difference be this time? How many more did Shaid and Aaron drive than Barbara? Keegan. What? If I subtract 350 more miles. Very good. 350 more miles. And then here's a different word phrasing. How many fewer miles did Barbara drive than Jing? I would like everybody to work this one out on your desk. So pull out your marker. Online friends, this is going to be on your slides. How many fewer miles did Barbara drive than Jing? When you're setting this up, if Barbara drove fewer, she will be the smaller box. Jing will be larger. And when you're finished with that, give me one more question that you could ask from this chart. How many fewer miles did Barbara drive than Jing? Everyone's working this one out on their desk. It's in your bed bag because I sent it home for you. Sorry, dude. Activity numero dos.
Activity numero dos.
We have a vertical bar graph this time. Can somebody summarize to me what this graph is about? And you would probably use your title and your headings to figure out what we're learning about in this graph. Those are kind of our key areas. Braylon? Yes. We're talking about cans, but that's not it. What's our whole big picture about? Can you add to that? Good. Canned goods at Turner's Market, and we're trying to figure out the number of cans. So how many cans of peaches, beans, and peas are at Turner's Market? Who can rephrase that for me? Restate. What's this graph all about? Skylar.
Cans at Turner's Market.
And we can use this graph to figure out how many cans are at his market, right? Who can restate that again? We're starting to get lazy. Be proactive of your learning. Keegan. What about the canned goods at Turner's Market? How many peaches, beans, and peas there are? Very good. So here's my first question. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Ooh, this is an easy one, so I'm just going to have you answer it when I drop my hand. How many cans of peas are at Turner's Market? I'll give you 5 seconds to get it. Peas. How many cans of peas are at Turner's Market?
400. 400 peas.
400 cans. Good. Are there more cans? This one I'll let you work out. Are there more cans of beans or peas and peaches combined? So that means on your desk you're going to have to combine your peas and peaches and compare that to your beans. Are there more cans of beans or peas and peaches combined? Which has more, beans or peas and peaches combined? I'm seeing some comparison bars. You actually don't have to find the circle and this one because I just want to know which one has more, beans or peas and peaches. Oh, I won't. I'll just ask you for it later. Ooh, great
Yes,
question.
it
Yeah.
is.
If it's right between 500 and 600, you betcha. It would be 550. Good catch. I'm going to label that one since you got that, Riley.
I knew that. Didn't we talk about that?
Mm-hmm. Good memory. Were you going to ask the same thing, Landon?
No, I was gonna ask.
Do we need another about 30 seconds here? All right. Which has more, peaches and peas together
Peaches
or
and peas
beans?
150 more.
Or beans? And if you did find your answer, you can go ahead and tell me how many more the greater one has. I heard some friends that were getting excited and wanting to share how they did it. So when you get called on, instead of just telling me your answer, go ahead and explain how you found your answer. Okay? Use my randomizer here. Because there's so many of you that have solved it. Alrighty, here. Miss Macy, would you like to share or would you like to pass this one? Pass? Well, Addison is gone. Alright, Emerson, you ready for this one? Are there more cans of beans or peas and peaches combined? How did you solve? And then what is your answer?
I get 400 plus 300.
Okay. Peas plus peaches. What'd you get for that total?
700.
All right.
And then I looked at the beans, and then
Hadley.
I figured out that it's more than
Hadley.
it's more than beans.
Good. Peas and peaches had
150
more than beans. Yeah. And who was able to stretch that and tell me how many more? Those of you that had some extra time. Savannah?
I did 400 plus 300 is 7, and I did that peaches and peas combined, because the beans are 550 and peaches, and the peas and peaches are 700.
Good. What was the difference, Skylar? I heard you found that one. How many more peas and peaches were there?
150.
150 more. Nice work. Ready for the next one?
Yep.
Erase. Because I don't think you're even going to need to write this equation out to solve. I think you guys can do this one in your brains. Listen carefully. How many more cans of beans are there than peas? I think you guys can do that math in your head. How many more cans of beans are there than peas? When you get it, you can put your hand on your head. How many more cans of beans are there than peas? Oh, I'm hearing friends, but I shouldn't hear it. I should just see your hand on your head if you found it. How many more beans are there than peas? Rylan, I'm going to challenge you since you've been rocking this. See if you can solve this one in your brain. How many more beans than peas? I bet you can solve that back in your brain.
It's 950.
Ooh, that would be combined. I want to know how many more beans than peas. But you don't have to solve. Oh, hey, 150 more cans, right? Good work. Alrighty, friends. Here's the last challenge. The challenge question. So you are going to answer this question, and then you are going to come up with your own. First, you're going to solve. How many fewer cans of peaches are there than, oops, I better write this, peach, than my peas and beans combined? And you are, oops,
Wait, are they all combined?
how many more cans of peas and beans combined are there than peaches? And then you can come up with your own question. Online friends, you are doing this also on your slides. How many, oh, I phrased that wrong. I'm sorry. How many fewer cans of peaches are there than peas and beans combined? And then you can come up with your own questions. All right, we've filled in our title. We've filled in the types of the DVDs. What would be a smart label for this down on the bottom? It's a little bit trickier. Rylan.
So,
What other information do we have? We've got the types of DVDs. That was this column. What else do we have to record in our chart?
on the bottom of it,
Yeah, what would we say there? When we start drawing bars across, what is that going to be telling us?
that means it's telling us
That's okay.
I don't know.
Ooh, perfect. So they just said DVDs in their chart, but I love that you added numbers because it helps us think more what it's showing us. Number of DVDs. Now, do you guys remember the trickiest part about creating our bar graph? Skylar?
The first line you have to put 0.
First line has to start at 0, but we have to figure out what are we counting by that works with all three of these numbers. So think about that one. If we've got 60, 35, and 20, what can we count by that would get all of those numbers? What do you think, Keegan?
10.
Maybe 10? Let's check. Starting at 0? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That would get all of them. What about 35? Can I still do it even though there's a 35?
Yes.
Riley?
Oh,
Yeah, where would it go?
the middle.
It would go in between 30 and
35. 40.
40. Good. So, because we checked it, now we actually can write our numbers up. Do I have a mathematician that could do that? That could fill in the numbers for my bar graph? Gunner? Go ahead and fill in the numbers for my bar graph up here. And then you can cap your marker at your desk. Because you guys aren't going to need your markers at your desk for this one. It's just if you get called up front. We decided on an interval of 10s. So you can fill in 10, 20, 30. And you're just writing down my numbers, so like 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then I'm looking for a mathematician who can fill out, make sure that they're lining up with our numbers, or our lines, right? So 10 will go into the first line. See what I mean? It's hard when you're in the shadows. You might have to squat down a little and it's easier. There you go. I'm looking for mathematicians who are going to be ready to fill my bars. And we talked last week about how you mark how much it is first and you make that line. And then you, nice and neat, connect it back to the start, right? So if I know that there's 60 comedy DVDs, who could draw that bar for me? Hadley, come on up.
Can we fill it in with stuff?
Yes, yep, you can definitely fill it in with a pattern when you're done. Thanks, Gunnar. You're good to go. So Hadley's going to draw my comedy bar. There's 60 comedy DVDs, so you can mark out 60 first. Straight out from comedy. Oh, double check. Did that line up to 60? We'll cap it. And remember, we don't just do a line, we make a whole bar. So you're going to draw another line and cap it off at the end. That way we can fill it in with the pattern.
And then you can fill
She's going with the blank one. All right, thank you, Chica. Who would like to make my action bar? There's 35 action. Emerson, come on up. Don't worry, we're going to have another bar graph after this. You'll all get a chance. There's 35 action, which we already discussed. It would fall, everybody, between 30 and
35.
40.
Just a quick announcement before lunches start. We will have indoor recess.
No way.
Thank you.
Yay! Wait, huh? No way. I can't believe it.
All right. Oh, hocus pocus. Hocus pocus. Emerson, I'm going to get a little bit picky because your top bar starts at 35, but it almost comes down to 30 at the bottom. So we want to make sure that that's nice and a nice straight line right in the middle, right? Does that one look like it goes straight up and down in between these bars? Because it's got to be exactly halfway if it's 35, right? So that's why I usually make that mark first. Yep. And then shade it in. All right, he went with a zigzag pattern. Alrighty, and my last one is drama, drama, drama. How many drama films, Jade? We're going to represent that up here, and then the rest of you guys are waiting because hopefully you'll get a chance on my vertical bar graph. many drama DVDs do we have, girlie? 20? Here's my 20 line. There you go. And do you want a pattern for it? Go for it. We got blank, we got zigzags, we got swirls, waves. Oh, crisscross waves. All right. What do you guys think? Have we filled it out?
Yep.
You betcha. Go ahead and I need to erase. My next graph is starting from scratch, so there's going to be more opportunities for you guys, but you're going to have to be able to transfer over my headings and my labels also. You ready for that challenge? All right, I gotta use my brain. Clearly my copy's not kicking in. There we go. Alrighty, friends. Who can plug in this top line of my graph? River, go ahead and come in and plug in the top line. I'll slide it down here so you guys can reach a little better. River's riding in summer bike sale. Show me with your gestures. Do you agree or are you thinking something different? She's right. Their title is summer bike sales. Our title is summer bike sales. Who can plug in this bottom label? What label would match with 3 different spots here? Maddie. Calvin, head up. Well, those are my 3, what? Those are my 3, good, so you can put my type of bike label down here. And then I'm looking for somebody to plug in my road, mountain, and hybrid. Riley, you can plug in road. And since it's type of bike, you guys do not need to write bike after each one. We'll literally write road. Who wants to write mountain for me? Savannah, hybrid. Braylon, have you already drawn up here today? No? Come on up.
I haven't.
Road, mountain, and hybrid.
Why is my desk so messy? Dex, you haven't cleaned your desk.
Nope, it's just sometimes the marker gets some residue on it, so we'll just have to make sure we wipe it off really good.
Yeah.
Road, mountain, and hybrid. I know, it's tricky. So we're not quite done. We've labeled this side with the types of bikes, road, mountain, and hybrid. What information would go on the side of our vertical bar graph? Think about what we record on each line. Think about what that would be telling us. I'm looking for some friends who have not been able to draw on a graph yet. You have.
Me? I haven't.
You have.
I haven't.
Skylar, what's one thing I can add here?
Types of, number of bikes.
Number sold. Bingo, bingo, bingo. So you can put that on this line here. And then start looking at the... I think that writing it sideways is the trickiest part. I usually do exactly that. I kind of turn my body and do it. Yep.
Or maybe you could just turn the paper.
Usually when you're working it on your desk or on a homework or whatever, you can just turn the page. Absolutely. It's a little tougher on the board. Good job, Skylar. All right, third grade. I have a whole bunch of lines. So what would be, since I've got a 450, what might be the best number scale to count by on this one? Think about that one. And when I say teach, I want you to talk with your neighbor about what you think our scale interval should be. What do you think we should be counting by? Ready? Teach.
If you count by hundreds, what is the middle of 100?
Wrap up your conversations in 3, 2, 1. Tootsie roll, lollipop. things I figured out what a bus scale would be. Savannah, what do you think it should be?
10.
Tens. Let's check and see if we can fit tens up to 600. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Ooh, we need way more than that, huh?
100. Oh,
River.
150.
By 150. Oh, geez. Okay, 0, 150, 300, 450. That one would work, except for I kind of missed the mark for 200, right?
It's 100.
Because 200 is not right in between. What else could I do? I'm looking for someone with GTA, not blurts. Keegan? 100. Let's see. 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So 450 could land there. Oh, I got off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600, 700. Ooh, what do you guys think? That sounds good. Who can label those? Starting with 0 and then counting by hundreds going up.
I already did
Someone
it.
who has not had a chance to fill out anything on a graph yet up here.
Do we have right now?
You did this on the last one, Gunnar. Who hasn't had a chance to write any of my graph information yet? Calvin, come on up. And you can just go 0, 100, 200, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, I thought we were writing the name of it.
Nope.
Oh.
So Kevin's filling out our scale, what we're going to be counting by. Check your markers, guys, because I'm hearing some marker clicks, so they can just go right in your groove. Because otherwise, we're doing a really great job. I'm actually going to be looking for some really responsible mathematicians to draw my final bars. There's going to be 3 more bars, 3 more participants to finish this graph off. Has anybody still not written anything on a graph yet? Whether it's words or bars or anything?
Keegan has.
You haven't written anything? Up here?
Yeah, I haven't read anything
Okay.
either.
Alright. So I'm looking for someone to draw my bar for my road bikes.
Oh, no.
My road bike. Someone who has not drawn anything up on the board yet.
I wish I could.
Macy, go ahead and draw my bar for my road bikes. Looks like we have 200 road bikes
Macy
sold.
did it.
No.
I haven't did it either.
But you go and put that cursor away because right now we're in the middle. Who would like to draw my bar for my 600 mountain bikes? Olivia? And my 450 hybrid bikes. Allie, have you drawn anything on the board yet? Go ahead. You can do my hybrid bikes. I love these guys are doing an awesome job of having really nice, neat bars. These ladies have done a very nice job of having nice, organized bars. 450 hybrid bars. Right in between there. Oh, over by the hybrid spot, right? Right above this one. Perfect. Ellie got right in between 400 and 500. Focus, focus. Riley had a great question. Does anybody in here know what a hybrid bike is? Thinking about that word hybrid, we can actually relate that to science coming up here. No? So I have a hybrid bike, and what it means is that my bike is pretty good for on the road, and it can handle like trails. And so it's not a super thick trail tread. It's not like a really chunky tire like some mountain bikes are. But it's also not like the really skinny hard tire like a road bike. So it's called a hybrid because it works for both.